sure. What's up, bro?
Man, what's happening, man? And I done climbed all these stairs up here to the nosebleed section, man. Exciting football this weekend, man. Can't wait to break it up and see how these playoffs gonna work out.
Well, you see, I'm hanging out with the nosebleeders, man, for this playoff football. See all this garbage that's going on. Got me up here freezing my ass off. That ain't nobody doing nothing.
Yeah, man. It was definitely no real upsets. The only really good game was the Lions and the Rams.
What you mean, no upsets?
I mean,
Tampa Bay beating Philly?
I can't call that an upset. Philly's been playing horrible. And anybody who's watching football knew the loss was coming.
I agree, but to Tampa?
Yeah, I mean, again, we can start there. I mean, when you first off, you got a quarterback that's hot and a quarterback that's not. And
I like that one. Okay.
yeah, man, and Baker was cooking and Hurts was hurt. I don't have a better way to put it. Um, the
What's wrong?
one thing, the one thing I'm gonna say about Philly is usually the team that loses the Super Bowl the previous year hits a slide. You can look at it. They never really bounce back and play well. Not that next year at least.
You said that
Uh,
at the beginning of the season, so I know you.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then they went 10-1. They went 10-1 to start the season. But two of those 10 wins were against Washington close games. I mean, I've never seen a team tackle as poorly as I watched Philly not tackle these last, 3-4 games of the season. It bit them in the ass, against Tampa on two huge plays. These guys are just standing around and letting people run past them. I'm talking about so got the guy surrounded and can't seem to tackle him. Offensively, you start off running the ball well. Swift runs 2 10-yard runs to start the game, and then you don't go back to him. I don't know. I don't know what to say about Philly, but the very last thing that I thought is that they were going to beat Tampa, though they were my pick um, to come out about 5 or 6 weeks ago. Just how they ended the season. The kid from Channelview, Texas, just couldn't get it done. So, uh, Jalen Hurts he from right around the corner from me.
Okay.
His dad was the high school football coach at Channelview High School.
Okay.
But my secretary right now is actually his aunt.
But look,
But
though, here go the thing with Jalen Hurts. It's not his fault.
I was just going to say that.
I was just, oh hell no, that's a team. Oh, that wasn't just him. He was doing all he could. You know
You
what
mean coaching? I mean, coaching matters, and
I mean?
whatever buttons that
I don't
coach
think
pushed.
you think it was coaching,
Oh, I definitely think it was coaching. I
offensive
mean,
coordinator, or the head coach?
To me, it starts at the top. Preparedness to playoff games starts with your head coach.
So you think they was overlooking Tampa?
I don't know if they overlooked Tampa. I just know they wasn't out there to tackle anybody. You can't.
That's
You
why I said.
can't.
That's why when you said coaches, I'm thinking players. I can't put your heart in you. I can give you a
Well,
game plan, but you got.
but we can make sure that we've done some form tackling, throughout the week.
Okay,
That that we've got
at
some
least
physical
mention it.
practice. I mean something,
Yeah.
something to change the tide that the team was going. They lost 6 of their last 7 games. How do you lose 6 of your last 7 games? If they didn't start 10-1, they wouldn't even made the playoff. But that 10-1 got them there, and that extra one pushed them into the playoff. And you know, they were bad. It was a bad game. Tampa slapped them on the ass and sent them home, put them out their misery. I don't know what's going to happen in Philly, but I expect huge changes in Philadelphia.
Would you trade? I wouldn't fire the coach.
I would.
I maybe give me a new offensive coordinator.
There's too many good coaches out in the market right now to not at least look into possibly another coach.
Let me ask you this: when you say it's too many good coaches on the market, is any of those coaches that much of an upgrade from what he doing? Because he's not a bad coach.
That's a good question. I think he's too soft. I mean, I got prime example, Dan Campbell and what was that, Sirianni, whatever the hell his name is, Philly. Yeah, Sirianni. Okay. I watched Sirianni talk about his win, and he said, I got to be there for my players. I got to be there for my coaches. This is a devastating loss for us. I can imagine Dan Campbell losing that game. And he would have been cussing people out. It wouldn't have been talking about consoling anyone. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
See,
Mike Tomlin.
football is built for the different.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Steelers in a minute, but Mike Tomlin, no excuses. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
didn't see that from Sirianni. All I saw was, oh, let me coddle some more. The same type of coddling that ain't got you tackling in practice. The same type of coddling that you got one of the best offensive lines, supposedly, in the NFL, at least the best center in the NFL.
He
And after that bullshit, I would too.
retired. I think he gonna come
After,
back. I think that's just like you said. His feelings was like, "Nah, I'm retired. I'm done."
yeah, I mean, after a tennis one start, man, to finish like that, after a
9 points
4 run,
though. 9 points.
man, to go one and done like that. I mean, again, they just didn't look prepared to play football, and to not be prepared to play against a very beatable Tampa team, to Mike Evans dropped two touchdown passes, and still they get rocked like that. I mean, it's it was embarrassing for Philly.
Let me
And
ask
I can't stand Philly fans. I think they're the worst fans.
you. Nah, the worst
In,
fans
in,
is Dallas fans, which is
no,
why
no,
transition right here.
no.
Which loss is worse?
Give me 1 second. We'll transition,
Yeah,
but
I would say which
I,
loss is worse?
I think Phillies fans are the worst fans in the country. But I feel bad for them. How?
What? I don't feel bad for them. Definitely don't feel bad for them. They put that garbage on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, let's make that transition.
I'm asking you, which loss is worse, Dallas or Philly?
Man,
They both sitting in the garbage.
this is what I'm saying. And people talking about that's the best division in football.
When in the '90s?
Right. Which loss is worse?
Let's talk about it first. We'll come back to that.
I think the Cowboys loss is worse. If you ask me why, I'll tell you that because they were at home and how Green Bay just punched them in the mouth to start the game.
The number one offense in the league.
I mean,
Dallas I asked a Dallas fan yesterday. I asked him because Dallas just is Dallas. They always go stink up the joint. And I asked him,
yeah.
what's the deal? And this coming from a Dallas fan from Dallas, they said it's Jerry Jones. And I said, well, why don't he know that? And they was like, well, how you can't tell a billionaire nothing. I said,
I mean, again, the hiring of Mike McCarthy in the first place, had me scratching my head.
but
Uh,
you thinking of right now. I'm talking about over the last 20 years.
oh no, let me.
Okay,
I
okay,
mean,
okay, okay.
anybody who participated in actively blocking little children from going to school because they were a certain color is going to have questionable judgment, in my opinion.
Right, right.
So, though a billionaire, um, it doesn't look like his questionable decision making is something that is new to him.
Right.
So maybe he is the problem. All I know is Dallas ain't won shit since the '90s, and they don't look like they're gonna win shit.
Since you
Uh,
fired Jimmy Johnson.
I mean, and then that's what they was talking about. The curse was broke. They brought Jimmy Johnson back, added him to the Ring of Fame, or whatever the hell it
Ain't
is.
changed nothing.
I mean, I can't tell you. The defense was a little shook. I felt like they had one of the best defenses in the NFL most of the season, and for Green Bay to come in and Matt LaFleur and his creative offensive style, and that's who's looking like a genius to me.
Who?
We can't say Dallas completely blew this game. You got to talk about the Green Bay Packers.
I was
You got
just
to talk
ready to
about
say,
them. Yeah,
with Jordan Love. When you said Green Bay, I don't want them to think it's Aaron Rodgers. This was with Jordan Love.
and letting Aaron Rodgers go, saying, "Hey, we know you've had a great career here, but it's time for us to move on. We got to let this kid play." It
Right.
didn't look good in the beginning of the season, but the kid has got his feet under him, and he's playing some hellified football at the right time.
And
You
with
know,
what's his name? Aaron Jones, the running back.
Aaron Jones has been good for a lot of
I
years.
know, but he was hurt all season, so now he got fresh
Yeah.
legs. He out there balling.
And then they got Dillard, I believe is his last name. I
He's
mean,
supposed to be back next week.
yeah. I mean, they have a good 1-2 punch in the backfield. They receiving the receiver core you would think was going to be their weakness, but they found a way to make it work. And again, creative play calling. We always talk about it. Coaching matters, and Matt LaFleur definitely outcoached the Dallas.
McCarthy.
Yeah,
McCarthy.
definitely
Look,
outcoached McCarthy.
so if you like go back to what we started with, if you had to take one of them losses, you in Dallas or you in Philly, which one you taking? I think I'm going Philly. I'm with you. I'm going. I would take that Philly because at least we was at the dance last year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean for one, the reason why it's hard to take it because Dak Prescott is now 2-10, 2-9
In the
in
playoff,
playoff games.
for real?
Yeah, two and he has not been
Well,
good.
bro, that if you watch
But
that game, that wasn't all his fault. Now he gonna catch all the blame. Some of that was play calling. That was
it was coaching.
defense was horrible.
I
Yeah,
mean, this is what
that
I'm
was
saying.
coaching. It was coaching.
You you saw teams prepared to play, and you saw teams that weren't prepared to play. This weekend. You can look up. You got everybody had the same amount of time to prepare for the games. You can see who used their time well and who didn't. I mean, we still haven't talked about the best game all weekend, and that was the
No,
Rams.
no, we gonna get
And
there. Before we get there, right quick. You said with let's go back with Dak. Uh, I just want to throw this point out there. We can jump straight to that. Uh, they said I heard from like I said the Dallas fan. They feel like Dan Quinn was checked out already because he finna get the Seattle job. So the defense
I
kind
mean,
of like that. I can't say it wasn't.
if I'm Seattle, I'm second guessing if I'm gonna bring this guy in.
Dan Quinn, that dude. I like. Now,
And Dan
so,
Quinn did not have his defense ready to play.
and I get that, but Dallas ain't had the defense in forever.
They ain't had a defense there forever, and when they needed it, it wasn't there. I mean, so I can't.
If he
They
checks
haven't,
out and all his luggage already on the train, what you want me to do?
man. And this is what I'm saying. I mean, the coaching didn't step up and do what they needed it to do.
Let
The
me ask you
defense
the biggest
wasn't
question.
prepared.
Let me ask you the biggest question of all of this. Can Dallas still call itself America's team?
I mean, when they got a billionaire who's a closet racist, um,
No, they can do what they want to do
they can do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? I
then.
mean,
Boy,
but
you don't do it though.
when you like how is I said this while I was watching the game. I looked at my wife and I said, "How is this America's team?" And the Dallas got a solid fan base. Wherever you go, you hear about the loyalty to the Cowboys, but you know America's team is a losing team.
I was just getting ready to say what my boy Cat Williams say, your affectionate for losers is just beyond me.
Right.
But
That cat. I don't even know if we can cover that.
nah, man, we'll get back to that one, man. Let's go.
Man, we
Let's go.
go. That would be wide right for real. But that cat,
That was,
that
hey,
was the funniest
he
shit.
bust some heads on that one.
Nah, it's the funniest shit I've seen in a long time.
What
But
about you say the Rams in Detroit?
heck of a game.
I think
Heck of a game. I mean, you saw. I think it came down to golf saying, "Listen, y'all didn't want me. Y'all wouldn't win a championship without me. But I'm a hell of a football player." Well, you and I have talked about this Dan Campbell team for 2 years. We talked about the losses that they took. When the record didn't show, and then last year the record started to show, but they still took some losses. And to see a coach take over a team and change the culture of that team has been fun to watch. And again, I said to you 2 weeks ago, um, my underdog team to go to the Super Bowl was the Lions, and I'm standing on that a little bit stronger today. I just feel like they played the hottest team in the NFL, which were the Rams. Had won 5 or 6 in a row to get into the playoffs, and to Matthew Stafford came out shooting. Both teams were prepared offensively and defensively to counter each other's strengths and weaknesses. I thought both coaching staffs had their guys ready to play, and both teams went out there and played their asses off. And Detroit, thankfully for the people in that area, was able to outlast the Rams in a heck of a playoff game.
Well, it was a heck of a playoff game. I give you that. But I'm happy Detroit won because I wanted them to win. But what's the Ram? McVay. Is it McVay? Sean McVay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
from the Rams. He fumbled that game off.
How?
4 minutes left, 4th and 14. You can't punt that.
Well,
You got to go for it. You have to. You got. I
I
know
mean,
we're
but
in
you
a
got
play call on the. I know that, but in that situation, you got to at least try to get you a pass, and you have to at least go out with all shooting all your bullets. Don't.
man, but it's 4 minutes. You got Aaron Donald with that in that defense.
But you
I
got one.
mean,
You only got one timeout. So
I, you,
when
you
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 say that
count on your defense to get a stop.
4 minutes, 3 downs, 40 seconds, that's 120 gone. So 2 minute warning, timeout. You're not getting the ball back.
I mean, I think that's a great analysis.
I just think
But
he
I
wanted to
think
win.
it's yeah, I think it's also drawing straws because if you go for it, then everybody's screaming, "Look, you got 4.5 minutes." If you don't get that, you know. But I think the game was won by Dan Campbell. 3rd and 9. What I'm saying? Say fuck running the ball. We're gonna throw this bitch and get
Oh
a
yeah,
first down.
that one, yeah, but I think Dan Campbell won the game anyway. When you said Jared Goff, like don't get me wrong, he was throwing some strikes out there. He was doing his thing, but you could tell in the game they had kind of rattled him a little bit when they got a couple of hits on him. They weren't even sacks, but they was just hits. He had got rattled, so they got him back under. So, like I said, running the ball. I forgot the running back name for Detroit, but he was doing a nice job running that.
Montgomery, David Montgomery.
Montgomery, yeah, he was running that ball. So
Yeah, I mean
it
they
was a
they
nice
ran
game
the
plan.
ball. And I mean and the Rams got some stops. They clogged it up some, but when Montgomery had daylight, he took advantage of it. I'm in Rod. What is his name? Amon St. Rod,
I
whatever the
like
fuck.
him. Yeah, same round or whatever.
Man, that boy is cold. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And then I mean they got a go-to receiver
And
and a
Reynolds.
quarterback that can get it to him. And you know they're going to be a dangerous, dangerous team down the stretch. They're gonna beat Tampa. I don't think Baker's been hot, but he's proved what he's had to prove. But I don't think that he's got enough. And shit, the Lions beat the hell out of him in week 3 by like 20 something, 30 something. And so, um, and they're playing in Detroit this time, and they beat them in Tampa. But you'll see when they face off against the Niners or the Packers just how good the Lions are. But man, I'm excited for the Midwest. Excited for Detroit. Um, that's a cousin city for us, right? Um,
He said the cousin city right up
yeah,
the way.
around the way, absolutely. So we'll see what happens with Detroit. Best game of the week, hands down.
Well, that was definitely best game of the week. But here go the elephant in the room. Uh, what you think about this whole trying to make everybody pay for this game on Peacock?
Man, and that was the least. It was the most watched, most streamed game, but
That's
it
what
was
they
the least
say, man.
watched. Yeah, but it was the least watched game of all of the games. I mean, I think it was bad business. Which game was it? It was Miami and Kansas City, right?
Yeah. Miami, Kansas,
And so, how I feel about it is, man, people are paying $300 for cable these days.
Dang,
And,
you know what
and
I mean? Right.
Everybody got a streaming service or something where they trying to add on, and so um, I guess TV is big business right now, and they're trying to take advantage of it. For the NFL to allow that, I think it sucked for the Dolphins fans and it sucked for the Kansas City fans, because um, they couldn't watch the game as an average fan, and so with that being said, I think it took away from a hell of a game because that type of game on television would have been big for the NFL on nationally televised.
Especially
Not
a frozen tundra type game.
Man, it was man. I mean, for the weather to play a part like that for Miami to try to fight back a little bit, but then to say, "Oh hell no, it's too cold." You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I'm a nose bleeding. I missed it. I wasn't paying that money for that. I don't what what do I want with Peacock? What can that help me out? Just to watch one game? Or
Yeah, I mean, and then the cost factor is definitely
I
comes
mean
into
the money was irrelevant, but it was just I don't like the fact that you're trying to force me into paying for something that, like you said, I'm already paying for. Cable
yeah.
$300.
This is what I'm saying. So I mean, I just think it was a bad move, and if they continue to make bad moves like that, then you know the viewership of those type of games will dictate the business, right? So if a bunch of people ran and bought, then we're probably going to see it again.
Ain't no
If a
problem.
bunch of people didn't run it,
23 million.
I mean, like you said, how many of those were Master P'd up, right? You know what I'm saying?
I got the hookup.
I'm
I'll let
saying,
you
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, but what I mean by that, Master P bought a lot of his own product, and you know,
Oh,
and
okay.
so how many of those 10 million was the NFL logging in? I'm making sure, you know what I'm saying? How many Peacock employees logged in? You know what I'm saying?
All eight TVs.
You see what I'm saying?
I get you.
So I mean, we'll see about it, but I know you ready to talk about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start without you even having to say any goddamn
Hey man, I let it go. I do.
thing.
But no,
Man, my Pittsburgh
I
feelings.
told you before we even. I told you. I said I feel like, and try to talk me out of Pittsburgh limped into the playoffs.
I'm talking about limped in, slid
But
in.
I can't complain about the Pittsburgh Buffalo game. Pittsburgh at the beginning of the game when it was Super Cup, they wasn't even warm yet, and like before they even turned around, they was down 21-0. So they fought back.
No, I mean, first off, and that's why people talking about Buffalo dominating that game. I'm like, what the fuck game did they watch?
That
What
ball was
what
cold.
game? What game did they watch? The Steelers had two drives into the red zone
And
in
dropped the
that
ball
time
twice.
frame that we didn't take advantage of. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So I mean, to be down three scores and then get that one score before the half, and then come back out and kind of make it a game. Um, it was almost there. But I'm telling you, man, I watched the commentator say before that game start, you got a real number one quarterback going against a third string quarterback. So I'm going
I
with
was
the
just going to
Bills.
say that quarterback looked like he was in over his head.
I mean, he
Especially the first.
played well. He
No, but I'm
played
talking about
well.
the first 6 to 8 minutes when they lost it, when they was bet down 21-0. He was making
He
bonehead decisions.
he played well, but the one throw into the end zone when he threw the
That was in the
pick,
first 8 minutes.
I mean, the and then we didn't help him Pickens with that fumble. Pat Fairmouth with a fumble that probably should have been given to the Bills. We didn't come out the win. And then I'm gonna tell you the most disappointing play of the game. We got it one score. Our best fucking player all year long on defense. That's not J.J. Watt. Minka got the boy tackled. You would think for a 2 yard gain. Doesn't and that's the one thing about football right now. They calling so many ticky tack ass fouls. It was two plays in that game that I'm like, the Bills took advantage of the rules. He tried to throw him on the ground. He didn't want to, hit him like he could have hit him for fear of getting a penalty. That was one play. And then when fucking Josh Allen ran that 52 yards, everybody thinks that he's about to slide.
Right.
Everybody lets up not to,
He
you know
gave him
what I'm saying?
a little stutter step, like took
Man, and
off.
then took off running. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, again, they making it a pussyfied ass game, and
Mm, mm,
you
mm.
know, and when you got players smart enough to take advantage of it, then I guess I can't be mad. Not upset with my Steelers to get out there and play like they played without JJ. Um, but like we 3-15 or something without this dude since we drafted him. So any game without JJ Watt on the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be a long haul. Proud of my guys. Again, another winning season for Tomlin. It just flashed across my screen. I don't know if it flashed across yours that he's definitely coming back to play out to coach out the last year of his contract. And so, um, as a fan, I'm happy to hear that.
Well, I just feel like it was a good game. I hate those games. Not just necessarily that game, but the games that's won or lost in the first 6 minutes of the game.
Mm.
Because you figure they was 31-17 for the game final. If they wouldn't have them fumbles and that interception, it was 21-0. That's a ball game. Now we would have had
Yeah,
something to really talk about here. But
yeah,
mm,
yeah. I mean, either one of those drives, if we got points out of it, and then it was one of those games where a field goal wasn't gonna do it. When we kicked the field goal in that third quarter, I'm like, man, that shit ain't gonna do nothing. Then Buffalo came and got a field goal themselves. But
hey,
those are
I
the type
commend
games.
Mike Tomlin though. You know what I'm saying? With the third round quarterback to even get to the first round of the
I
playoffs.
mean, man, come on, man. He's the best coach. Our guys are always ready to play. Um, we got rid of that punk ass offensive coordinator, and things have been really well since then. If Kenny Pickett is not the guy, we got to get a quarterback. I'm hearing all this shit. I'm reading it, and they're talking about we're going to trade for Justin Fields. I would be, I would be,
That's
you
that.
know, I'm not saying Fields ain't a good quarterback. I just don't think he's that guy. I would much rather us go ahead and pay Russell Wilson. Um,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Take advantage of the fact that we still got JJ for one more year. JJ Minka, that wide receiving core, which is just one of the best in the NFL, if you ask me. Um, and then we give a quarterback that gives us a real chance. And so we'll see what happens. I think it's a little bit too late to rebuild it. If they go get Fields, he hasn't shown me enough.
No, if you got the option between Russell Wilson and him, I'm definitely going with Russell Wilson. I was just saying if there wasn't no other because they ain't getting nothing out the draft. I was saying
No, no, not
Kenny
not
Pickett or
especially.
Justin Fields is what I was judging.
Yeah, I mean, we looked into it. I mean, and it broke my heart when I even saw it. But we went and asked the Bears, what would it take to get Fields? Um, from all the little blogs and what I'm reading, Russell Wilson wants to be in Pittsburgh right now.
Oh, okay.
He's looking at Pittsburgh and saying, I can see me going in and making an impact. Winning one last Super Bowl. And so I think it kind of works for everybody. Um, the 41 million is going to be paid by Denver anyway.
Right. Either
And
way.
so any contract that he gets with Pittsburgh would just supplement that cost. So he could go in for a vet minimum. Let us pick up some more players because he's getting no less than 48 million anyway.
Yeah, but what's his name? Sean Payton ain't finna cut him. He gonna make him ride the bench the whole year. They not finna just cut away 48 million.
No, they got to cut him to watch. It's gonna happen. They got a chance to get dead cap money off of their books.
Mm-mm,
And
not
so
this year. I seen
it
that already. His dead cap is
almost
still 48 million, regardless. If he's on
maybe I looked at it wrong. Maybe I looked at it wrong, but I thought that there's a way for them to benefit from cutting him.
I didn't. Well, no, from what I saw, it wasn't. But like you said, maybe I looked at it wrong. But I saw that even if they cut him, it might. You said benefit. I mean, 48 million, 40 million. I mean, that's benefiting for 7 million, 7 million.
Right, but if you can get a team to pay him 20 million, pay half of that salary, you gotta you gotta look at that.
Yeah,
You,
but
you gotta look at
fixing
that.
him to trade though.
You
Ain't
gotta
nobody,
look at
ain't
that.
nobody go just help you when they know you in a rock and a hard spot.
and we in the AFC with Denver. Denver has never been a team that you know
No, Pittsburgh.
we had good relations with, right?
Right,
And
exactly.
so I mean, we'll see what happens, but that would be the move that I would love to see.
All right. Well, what's your shout out for this week?
Man, we ain't gonna talk about we ain't got no picks for next week. This week coming
Oh
up.
man, I got the picks all day. Go for it. Who you got?
All right, I got. Of course, I got the Lions over Tampa. I
Of
just think that,
course. You act
yeah.
like Tampa ain't come put up no fight.
Now Tampa gonna come to fight. Baker Mayfield got them boys playing, and if
Okay.
Mike Evans
So
cannot
at least,
drop a
at
few,
least give them that. At least give them that.
yeah.
Okay.
But I still see the Lions winning that game, and then to stay in the NFC.
Hold up.
uh,
Let me give you my pick.
okay.
I agree with you. I see the Lions winning. But if Jared Goff come with a subpar game, Tampa Bay,
Mm, mm.
he can't come in there with that mediocre because Tampa Bay is like they like low land fruit. They right there on you.
They definitely own you, but I
Yeah.
don't see a Dan Campbell coach team not being prepared, and
Yeah,
that,
but
and that
coach,
includes.
I'm talking about the quarterback.
Yeah, but I think he got to have
He
him
been
ready
known
also.
to throw an egg, bro. He been known to throw you an egg. He'll give you something, but and now and again he'll throw one like he a straight up high school quarterback.
Well, you talk about Baker Mayfield too. I was
Yeah,
waiting on him to
yeah,
flop
yeah.
in the
You right.
playoffs,
You right.
but he didn't. He
Uh,
didn't. So we'll see. Uh, but he'll definitely lay an egg for you. I'm a Steelers fan. I know it. But what you thinking about the Packers and the 49ers?
I got to go 49ers, man. But one thing always hated about the playoffs is the bye week, man. Teams, if they like you said, if they ain't in there practicing, hitting, and doing all that, you know what I mean, they can come out flat. And the team that played last week usually come in hungry. So I think it's gonna be a pretty good game. But I still got San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, again, my uncle in the Bay and my cousin's gonna be pissed off when I say this, um, but I'm gonna go with the upset. I just think the Packers are playing really good football right now,
Oh,
and
okay, okay.
and you got that the
You
defense of the Niners, and just like you said, I think the rust factor is gonna come into play. Um,
a prisoner of the moment, are you?
huh?
You ain't no prisoner of the moment, are you?
Without a doubt, I am. I'm just without a doubt. Uh, I'm just going. I'm going with the hot hand and the
This
hot
dude.
team, and
Okay.
and Matt LaFleur is looking like he saved something for the playoffs, and I think Jordan Love is cooking at the right time. I'm not completely sold on Zach Purdy, and that's
Zach Bird.
that's why.
That's his
What's his
name.
name? Zach Purdy, right?
Brock.
Oh, Brock Purdy. My bad.
No, you
I'm
good.
not sold on Brock Purdy.
Okay.
Though they got Debo and McCaffrey could win the game single handedly. So of course I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners won. Their defense is stout, but they don't have D'Amico Ryan anymore. He's coaching another playoff team, and so with all that being said, I'm going with the Packers.
What about okay? So where we at with KC and the Bills?
Man, that's going to be a hell of a game. But I think finally the Bills get past Kansas City, and I think the home court factor plays heavy in that game. Both teams play in the cold. Um, they've knocked Buffalo out so many times that I think Buffalo gets their chance to right that in a way and beat KC. What do you think?
I'm going KC all day. But even just sitting here, I'm just sitting here thinking, bro, we ain't even talked about the real upset of the whole weekend.
Which one?
Houston.
Oh yeah, see, we skipped that
Houston,
one.
yeah, Houston put their work on the Browns.
I mean, you could
Nico
call it an
Brown was
upset.
putting in work. I ain't say it was an upset. I said he put that work. To me, that was the most
It was a blowout. That's why it was a lopsided win.
lopsided. Lopsided. Most
Yeah,
lopsided is because I didn't expect that.
yeah. I mean, one you didn't expect it because Cleveland just beat Texas 2 weeks ago in Houston,
Right.
but that was without C.J. Stroud, and boy, oh boy, does C.J. make a difference. I
Right.
mean, the kid is cooking, man. He's hot. He's got the hot hand right now, and again. You gonna call me a prisoner of the moment?
You about
But
to.
since
All
we're
right.
talking about it,
Oh, this
I
was.
got
Oh Lord, don't say
I
that.
got the Texans.
You mean this, don't you?
I got the Texans beating the Ravens. I got the Texans beating the Ravens.
Hey man, the nosebleeds be going down, bro. This dude be just shooting from the hip, man. Nah,
Hey, no, man. Hey, first off, I'm not a Rat Bird fan anyway.
I know that.
Um,
That's why.
let,
That's why I say you shoot from the hip.
hey, and we
You can't
talked
just
about a
say
couple of weeks
anything.
ago. You asked me which team that I felt had the best chance to get to the Super Bowl. I said the Ravens. I still feel that the Ravens are a solid team.
Uh huh.
But the one thing I know, having played against them, is the Ravens can be beat.
I
And
said they
why
couldn't.
not? Why not? Nobody stopped this kid, CJ Stroud. Nobody has even slowed him down. The boy is out there putting in work on a whole nother level. And you facing D'Amico Ryan's defense. I
Bro,
mean,
is
and
he ready for some cold weather game? A cold weather game? CJ
that's
Stroud.
gonna
I'm asking.
that's gonna be the difference maker. I mean, he played in Ohio State, but he's from Southern California, so of course he has some cold days, playing in Ohio State. Um, however, you know, there's nothing like Baltimore and the physicality that Baltimore is gonna bring to the table. So maybe the Texans get blew out, but
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout.
Mike Chaos from the nosebleeds. I'm picking the Texans to go ahead and not get to the Super Bowl because I don't think they're going to get past the Bills next week. But I know this team. Another quarterback who ain't won shit in the playoffs is Lamar Jackson. He's won one playoff game in his career.
Well,
I'm sorry. Let's call a thing a thing. It's the same thing with Dak Prescott with his 2 win in the playoff having ass. I mean, we got to stop just picking on regular season accolades. And like you just said, the same thing with the Niners. They set out a week.
yeah,
Yeah, they've got a healthier,
I agree.
but the Texans are rolling right now, and it's going to be a heck of a game. And I'm placing my money on the Texans
Who's your Super Bowl pick from right now?
for right now. Ah man, why you gonna ask
Right
me
now.
that?
I'm just saying because we got to go from week to week. We know who left. Who you got?
Lions Bills. I'm gonna go Lions Bills right now.
Ooh, okay, okay. Nah, I'm going 49ers, Baltimore again.
I mean that they both won seeds. They both had the best regular season.
I got. I think I'm gonna see
So
them.
we'll see. And then and I'm telling you, the Niners are known to lay an egg in the playoffs. I mean, we saw it last year. So I mean, it's gonna be fun to watch. Um, hey, the one thing that I'm seeing in the NFL is the passing of the torch, and that's what this season represents to me. It's been the passing of the torch. The old regime is moving out. The Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady's, uh, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson's. Those guys are being pushed to the side or moved to the side or stepped to the side. And these young guys are upcoming. The gunslingers are coming. The Josh Allens of the world, the C.J. Strouds of the world,
Jordan Love.
the Jordan Love of the
I
world.
got you.
These guys are coming. They're young, coming, and they're gunning to get their name on that pedestal. Is Lamar Jackson going to take advantage of it? We will see. He's expected to. He has the
Hey,
best team
stop picking on
around him,
my boy, man. My boy ain't did nothing to you.
but he only has one playoff win.
He finna have two.
We'll see. We'll see.
What's your shout out this week, man?
Hey man, hey screaming from the top of the nosebleeds, man. Gotta give a shout out. Um, to coaching, and I wanted two coaches, Dan Campbell and the Lions, man. Salute, Dan Campbell. You've turned that team around. Let's see what you're able to do with them in the playoffs. And then got to give a shout out to Mike Tomlin. You know, anybody else, any other coach, any other team, they would have folded. Lose three games in a row. To bounce back, make a way into the playoffs, and still be respectable in the playoffs. Got to salute that. And then lastly, D'Amico Ryan.
I
You
was
know,
okay. I was just getting ready to say that's gonna be my shout out since you said two coaches. I'm gonna give
yeah.
my shout out to D'Amico Ryan because I
Oh,
assumed you was gonna say him, but you gotta give Mike Tomlin some love. Oh, you Pittsburgh Steelers fans, boy, nosebleeders. I'm out.